Good Thursday morning, back with some headlines, starting with a Fox News alert. 2 Navy crew members killed after their jet crashed in the water during a training flight off Key West. A source tells Fox News the F-18 Super Hornet was flying on one engine when it lost the other one at low altitude a mile from the runway. President tweeting his condolences overnight, saying, quote, "Please join me with your thoughts and prayers for both aviators, their families, and our incredible U.S. Navy." A criminal investigation now underway into a puppy's death on board a United Airlines flight. A family says a flight attendant made them put the dog in an overhead bin from Houston to New York. And now we're learning United mistakenly sent another dog, a 10-year-old dog, to Japan. It was supposed to land in Kansas. Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana now proposing a bill to ban animals from overhead bins. Since 2015, 41 animals have died while traveling with United. Let's look at your headlines. Steve.
Sad story. All right. Thank you, Jillian. Democrats making their gun control message loud and clear as they joined thousands of students across the country walking out yesterday for 17 minutes.
People are sick and tired of gun violence, and the time is now for all of us together to stand up to the NRA.
Gun control! Thank you for bringing your urgency to this fight to the doorstep of America, the doorstep of the capital of the United States.
NRA spokesperson Dana Lash joins us now to react. Dana, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's good to see you all this morning. I'm always supportive of people going out and expressing their First Amendment right. Look, I don't want to make apologies for my Second Amendment right, so I don't expect people to make apologies for their First Amendment right. I do wish, though, that we had some in the political class that would stop trying to exploit this 6 ways to Sunday for their own political gain. Now, I know that the walkouts yesterday were organized by the Women's March, which are dealing with some serious anti-Semitic accusations right now, which maybe perhaps wasn't the best optic, but I think that they make it harder for people to be heard when they try to get some of the attention that these kids are getting right now from everyone, because they're going out and expressing their viewpoints.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, Dana, because to me, my instinct would be let's protect the schools and then talk about how to do that.
Right.
But it seems as though the message was blame the NRA and blame President Trump in many cases.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense at all, because President Trump wasn't the one down in Parkland not paying attention to the 45 calls, nor were any law-abiding gun owners who are NRA members. You know, Sheriff Israel had the best day yesterday because nobody was talking about him, and I think that that's how he wants it. No one was talking about his incompetency. No one was talking about his failure to stand up for those kids by answering the 45 calls that came into his department, including calls from the murderer's mother herself, who was even warning law enforcement that this murderer had put a gun to her head before. This, of course, after reports came out that he had punched her so hard in the face, he knocked her teeth out. And I want everyone to not forget that the school also had a file on him, a mental health file, because he had been meeting with therapists, where he was telling therapists that all of his gory fantasies about school shootings. Miami Herald has done absolutely amazing work on this that no one is really paying attention to aside from you all.
Yeah, obviously, the protests were originally, a lot of people, Dana, thought it was to commemorate the 17 lives lost, but then it became a political thing, and those people, all the images are to suggest that all those kids are for gun controls. The U.S. Congress, though, did something yesterday. The House of Representatives, in a gigantically lopsided vote of 407 to 10, passed the Stop School Violence Act. It was completely bipartisan, and what it's going to do is it's going to try to help people get training so they can identify students who are at risk going forward.
Absolutely, and I think that that's making sure that students and teachers are protected is something that everyone can agree on. That shouldn't be a political issue. But I think that, Steve, you make a really good point yesterday as well, because you can memorialize the lives lost, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every single person who went out is somehow supportive of gun control measures. And gun control, let's be clear, gun control wouldn't have prevented what happened yesterday. In fact, the proposals that I have heard wouldn't have prevented what happened yesterday, aside from making sure that schools are that if people want to be able to protect themselves, teachers, educators, and are trained and willing to do so, they can. What would have prevented it yesterday? What would have prevented this massacre is the FBI following up on the 2 tips. I know that the acting deputy director, David Bowditch, came out and said, yes, they did mess up. These were 2 things that they should have followed up on. But again, I want to go back. Ultimately, the murderer is the one responsible. But when you have people like Sheriff Israel who are in the position, and that is their sworn duty to make sure that they follow this down, that's what they should be doing, not blaming mothers like me and law-abiding gun owners across America for the mistakes and his incompetency.
Right. And
that's one thing that we don't want to see.
Yeah, and we still have those reports of these deputies telling everyone I'm standing on the outside. The deputy's story saying that he thought the shots were coming from the outside, but he knew they were coming from the inside because he was telling them to stay away from that building. So that's the story that's not getting enough publicity that we have to focus on, because we've got to stop the next one.
Yep.
Dana, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dana.
That's right. And thank you all. Thank you all so much.
You bet. All right. See you.